When I first went to law school and I started hearing about this, and before that, and you know, the McDonald's case, guy spills coffee, gets millions of dollars. The classic case of someone sued Ford because they didn't have they said, we didn't understand how to use the brake, okay? I mean, you get all these crazy claims out there, and you think, how does it actually go through? How does this come forward? Well, what happens is they are able to get their case in front of a sympathetic jury, and that jury says, you know what? You look nice. You look like a nice family. I hate to have this happen to you. You know, even though the pool operator may not have been at fault, we really think you ought to get something. Then all of a sudden, you as the pool operator, you as the owner of the pool, have to pony up some sort of relief for this person simply because the jury feels sorry for them. And I'm not going to say that's right. I'm not going to say that's wrong. That's just the way it is. How do you get in front of a jury? It is a long process. You have to have an injury. You get a lawyer. You get a claim. You discuss it with the other lawyer. They depose you. You depose them. You get information on both sides. They have to make a calculated risk. Is it going to be worthwhile for us to pay these people off, or is it going to be worthwhile for us to go to the court? One of the biggest things, Walmart's system was, we fight everything, which is the reason that for years they never paid a claim out. You brought a claim against them, they said, we will fight it to the end. They paid millions in attorneys to go fight these claims, and when they got to the court, they brought out information, evidence, everything they got to make sure Walmart never loses a case. For years, they never lost a case. Then it got to the point where someone was arguing with them saying, you haven't given us health care. You haven't provided certain basic rights. They fought. When they got to the court and they lost huge. It really came down on them hard. And since that time, they've kind of taken an attitude, we're going to be more willing to settle. We're going to be more willing to talk these things through, not take such a hard line, because when they got in front of the jury, they realized the jury hated them. And if the jury hates you, then you're going to lose. You either have to have the law on your side, you have to have the facts on your side, or you got to pound the table. And in that situation, they probably didn't really have the law on their side, but they had the jury against them, and that killed them. These cases that you're seeing here, $26 million for a death, for a drowning of a child in 2010. The kid who jumped in as part of his science experiment and ended up drowning because he hit his head. The 12-year-old who drowned when she was on a field trip with the city of New York. It was actually, she was doing a school field trip. There was no lifeguard on duty. They went into the pool. She drowned. That's $12 million that they sued for. Now, you go, folks who are involved with local governments, when was the last time you won a $26 million fine? Doesn't happen, okay? You come in as a local building department, you come in as a local health department, a local official, a state official, you're not going to find anybody for $26 million. You're not going to find anybody for $1 million. Reebok, when Reebok is an extremely wealthy company, and they put out those little tags that were filled with lead on their shoes. The little girl ate it and died. The Consumer Product Safety Commission, a federal agency, put forth their strictest, majorest, biggest claim ever for $1 million. This is after a girl died for a company with major deep pockets that had put this product out there all across the country. That's as big as it's ever going to get, $1 million. These cases, one drowning of one child for a small, city of New York is big, but it's not as big as Rebar. These other cases, these are small counties that are getting sued. These are small operators that are getting sued. They're getting sued for many millions of dollars. You much rather have the state, the local government, the federal government come after you than you want to have a private lawyer come after you. It's not pretty when you have a private lawyer. These are probably a little bit more familiar to you. The Mount Laurel, Pennsylvania, it recently got sued. This was known as more of a frivolous lawsuit, is what it was called. It was actually highlighted on Fox News as being a frivolous because the lifeguard told the guy, "Don't run. Quit running. You're goofing off. You're being you're being a stupid guy here." And he decided, no, it's a lot more fun to run in and keep jumping in the pool. He got hurt. He did not die, he just got hurt. In this kid's situation, the fear of the lawsuit, she said, I don't need it. I don't need the hassle, I don't need the grief. She closed the pool. Improper pool markings. Not putting up the no diving sign, not putting up the proper standard information on there. Well, this led to a situation where we got a $5.2 million verdict. Quadriplegic, he didn't realize that at a hotel, maybe you don't want to dive in. People dive in all the time, we know that. He became quadriplegic. If he would have died, I don't think the verdict would have been quite so high. But he didn't die, he lived. Now, from his point of view, he's in a wheelchair the rest of his life. He's going to burn through that $5.2 million pretty quick. From the hotel point of view, for the lack of not putting up a sign that says no diving, it cost him $5.2 million. Improper supervision. Now this girl down here, she was at daycare. They were going out for swim time. No lifeguard on duty. She drowned, they revived her. They did mouth to mouth. She was resuscitated. Still, the parents came forward, sued them. They settled out of court, so we don't know how much it is. But still, she was able to bring a suit. And the situation was, when you got kids, young kids, the jury decided not a court, not a group of experts, not the National Swimming Pool Foundation, not the CDC, but a jury said that's worth a certain amount of compensation. And they had to pay for that. So that's the kind of things that get you a little bit spooked out. Spray parks. Seneca Lake State Park in Geneva, New York. They ended up with cryptosporidium. 4,000 cases before the Department of Health finally closed them down. Now, it's this third bullet I want to highlight here. Of those 4,000, 2,538 are being represented by one law firm, by Marler Clark. That's a very good negotiating tool, because they're all in this together. Are they going to get some compensation? Yeah. It's going to be severe. And it's really going to be very trying for this park to stay open and to be able to pay off the compensation for a situation where really nobody died, but people did get sick. And could have been avoided. And that is how the jury gets educated on this. No one on the jury is going to be an expert in aquatics. Okay? The lawyers are going to make sure that person is going to be taken out of that jury pool if they are. They want people who don't know anything about aquatics. They want people who don't know anything about health and pool safety and the way things operate. They want to be able to educate this group of people to say, this is what should have been done. This is what was not been done, and this is the kind of compensation we need to bring forth.